Welcome to Conspiracy Q, the show where every week we delve into the wildest conspiracies. Strap yourselves in, because this week we are diving deep into some recently uncovered sources that point to a truly mind-blowing cover-up, a deliberate manipulation of time itself. Yeah, that's right, folks. We're talking about potentially fabricated centuries. Are you ready to question everything you thought you knew about the Dark Ages?
Absolutely. Today's top secret investigation focuses on the phantom time hypothesis. The idea that nearly 3 centuries, the years between AD 614 and 911, might never have happened at all. Just a historical black hole swallowed up by some grand scheme.
A 300-year gap. Wow. Our mission today is to carefully go through these classified files piece by piece and see if we can uncover the truth. Our listeners deserve to know, no matter how unsettling the answers may be.
Right on. And one of the first things that jumped out at me in these files was this whole Gregorian calendar reform thing.
Yeah, the calendar reform. On the surface, it seems like a simple fix to make the calendar more accurate, but these sources suggest something much, much deeper is going on.
You know, they say the Gregorian calendar reform of 1582 was done to fix the Julian calendar drift.
The Julian calendar, yeah. Everyone knows it was off by a bit, right?
You got it. But the thing is, if you actually calculate the drift, you know, that one day every 128 years thing, it doesn't add up.
What do you mean?
The total correction should have been like 12.7 days, almost 13 days. But they only adjusted by 10 days.
3 days missing.
And our sources suggest that this wasn't some silly math error.
Nope. According to the phantom time hypothesis, that 3-day difference is a deliberate omission. It's like a clue right in plain sight.
Clue pointing to.
The missing 300 years, of course.
Wow. Okay, so the calendar's off. But surely there's got to be more to this than just a calendar glitch, right?
Oh, there's a lot more. This next bit really blew my mind. You know, they say the Dark Ages were dark because society was in decline and all that.
Yeah, less trade, less building, less everything.
Exactly. But these recently uncovered sources propose a completely different explanation.
Okay, I'm listening. They argue that there's so little evidence from that time period because those centuries never actually happened.
Whoa. A blank slate. So we're talking about a giant archaeological black hole.
Think about it. Western and Central Europe, supposedly in the 7th, 8th, and 9th centuries, should be brimming with archaeological evidence. You know, pottery, buildings, the whole shebang. But it's suspiciously quiet.
So where did everything go?
According to the hypothesis, it never existed in the first place. And get this, think about Romanesque architecture, right? Those magnificent structures that suddenly appear in the 11th century.
Beautiful buildings. I've seen some pictures. But yeah, it's like they just popped up out of nowhere.
That's the thing. There's no clear progression from earlier styles, no gradual evolution. It's like architectural knowledge just fast-forwarded a few hundred years, unless those centuries were never there to begin with.
Hold on now. What about the Byzantine Empire? Constantinople, they were going strong during that time, right?
Well, you would think their records would be pretty continuous. But even in Constantinople, the archaeological evidence is a little wonky. Layers from before and after the supposed phantom period seem to blend together, almost as if those 300 years just vanish.
Okay, so we have a wonky calendar and some pretty glaring gaps in the historical record. But where do all the kings and queens and battles and stuff fit into this? Don't tell me they're fake, too.
Well, let's talk about Charlemagne, for instance. A legendary figure, right? But if you dig deeper, so much of what we know about him and the Carolingian Empire is based on documents copied much later, like centuries later.
Convenient timing, eh?
Right. It's almost as if these documents, conveniently appearing during the 11th and 12th centuries, were crafted to fill in the gaps of this manufactured timeline. Maybe Charlemagne wasn't entirely made up, but perhaps his story was embellished, shall we say.
Okay. Embellished, backdated, strategically placed in a fabricated historical narrative. I like it.
Yeah.
But who would have the power to pull off such a grand deception, and why would they even bother?
Good questions. These recently uncovered sources point the finger at some pretty powerful figures.
Like who?
Well, one candidate is Emperor Otto III, who ruled around the turn of the first millennium. According to these sources, Otto might have had a strong desire to have his reign coincide with the year 1000 AD. Think about it.
Yeah, to be the emperor at the dawn of a new millennium.
Exactly. The prestige, the symbolic power, the sense of divine favor. It makes sense. And according to these sources, he wasn't alone.
Oh, who else was involved?
They suggest that Pope Sylvester II, a brilliant guy, known for his knowledge of math and astronomy, might have been the brains behind the calendar manipulation.
So you've got a power-hungry emperor and a pope who's a whiz with calendars. Sounds like a recipe for a historical heist.
And the plot thickens. It looks like Byzantine Emperor Constantine II might have been in on it too.
Really? Why him?
Well, he was a big deal in the East, known for standardizing history and all that. These sources speculate that he might have helped align Eastern records with the revised timeline.
A conspiracy that spanned empires. Wow. But still, even if they could pull it off, how could they keep such a massive secret for so long?
These sources talk about a so-called suppression machine at work.
A suppression machine. Sounds sinister.
Basically, it's a system designed to maintain the fabricated narrative and silence anyone who dares to question it.
Like how?
Well, anyone who challenges the official timeline, those who point out the calendar anomaly, the archaeological gaps, or those forged documents are quickly labeled as fringe theorists, or worse.
So they get ostracized, discredited.
Exactly. Their careers, their reputations, everything is on the line. And inconvenient evidence like archaeological finds that don't fit the timeline, they just disappear or get reinterpreted.
Wow. So the truth is out there, but it's buried under centuries of lies, and anyone who tries to dig it up gets, well, buried themselves.
That's what these sources suggest. And think about it. The accepted timeline is everywhere. It's what we teach our kids. It's what's in the history books. It's ingrained in our collective consciousness. To admit that it might be a lie would mean rewriting centuries of history.
That's a pretty heavy thought.
It is. But here's the thing. Even if the phantom time hypothesis is just a theory, it forces us to ask some uncomfortable questions about the history we take for granted.
That's right. So listeners, think about what we've discussed today. The Gregorian calendar glitch, the archaeological silence, the suspicious timing of those key documents. What if it's all connected? What if the Dark Ages weren't so much dark as they were missing?
Exactly. It's time to start questioning everything.
Don't just accept the comfortable narratives. Do your own research, dig deeper, and see what you uncover.
And remember, the truth, no matter how strange or unsettling, is worth pursuing.
That's it for this week's Top Secret Investigation. Be sure to rate and follow Conspiracy Q for more explorations into history's deepest mysteries. Until next time, keep questioning.